restraint, unable to still go through this process.
Brave woman, raising brave children. Proudly an immigrant mom, bow to the immigrant mom. Brave woman, raising brave children. Proudly an immigrant mom, bow to the immigrant mom. Brave woman.
Restraint, unable to still go through this process.
Brave woman, raising brave children. Proudly an immigrant mom, bow to the immigrant mom. Brave woman, raising brave children. Proudly an immigrant mom, bow to the immigrant mom. Brave woman.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another session of the Immigrant Mom Show. Good evening, good afternoon, good night to wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining. You know the drill. When you join, say hi, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from so I can acknowledge your presence. This is the time for you to share so more people can join us. You guys know the drill. I always have a song that I'll play for us to enjoy while we share so many people can join us. Today we have a very, very interesting topic. We have an interesting, story to talk about today. So we're not going to waste time. Invite people to join us as soon as they can so we can get started. All right. So let me go ahead and invite my friends. Where you're watching from.
See, I don't show face. I remember when you told me leave your life, to leave my hair up or let it down. Remember when you told me always smile, but some days I really sigh. Cause it wasn't easy. Still I had to find a way. This way them say better they stay. This one no be mouth, I will never let you down. I say yo. Anywhere you see my mother, tell her I remember. If you help me see my sister, tell her I remember. Any matter, tell them it don't better.
She's a Tara. Hey, Tara, you're live. Thank you so much for joining.
Anywhere you see my mother, tell her I remember. If you help me see my sister, tell her I remember. Any matter, tell them it don't better. Remember when you told me, be careful of them. Say if them touch your lap, oh, you go carry belly. Oh, I remember. I remember. You are my life, not history. Cause it wasn't easy. Still I had to find a way. If wishes were hustling from all I'm for neck. This one will be mine.
Thank you for joining. Thank you. Give it a few more minutes and we'll get started.
Anywhere you see my mother, tell her I remember.
Hi, Goloma. Thank you for joining.
See my sister, tell her I remember. Any matter, tell them it don't better. Anywhere you see my mother, tell her I remember. If you help me see my sister, tell her I remember. Any matter, tell them it.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Come on, kids, I'm gonna get started. Go ahead and share. All right, guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. Like we always start with a song to get us into the mood of it. If you're wondering, this is a song by Xenia. It's titled I Remember. And for those of you who know the backstory, Xenia lost her sister a couple years ago. And, she wrote this song in memory of her sister, who was also like a mom to her. And that's why, I really like the song. It has a very powerful meaning. It talks about a relationship she had with her sister. Check it out if you have not. It's called I Remember on YouTube. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. It's another Thursday. It's amazing how time flies because every time I have to be live, it reminds me that 2 weeks have passed. And it's going by so fast. So thank you so much for joining. If this is your first time on this platform, I'll tell you a little bit about who we are and why we're here. The Immigrant Mom Show is an arm of the Immigrant Mom organization. The Immigrant Mom organization was an organization that was birthed in 2019, after I had my second child and just realized how much I did not know about this country. I had gone by for about 8 years since I moved here, knowing America for myself. And having children just made me realize how much I did not know enough to raise them. I'm talking about I didn't know how to give them a bath, how to breastfeed. I didn't know about postpartum depression that I suffered. I didn't know anything about the educational system because I didn't go to school here. So I was completely clueless. And because of that, I said, well, I know more than 20 women who are just like me, who came here as adults and who are raising children in a culture that they did not grow up in. And to my amazement, I realized there was really not an organization like this. And that's how we started. Hi, Claudine. Hi, Nina. Thank you all so much for joining. Go ahead and share. So our mission is to equip, to empower, to educate the mother, the woman, the parent that's raising up her child in a culture she did not grow up in, all her children. And the way in which we accomplish our mission is through story sharing. And that's why we have the Immigrant Mom Show, because this is our platform where we'll talk about our stories. We'll highlight the struggle. We'll talk about what it has taken us individually. So if you know another woman who has a powerful story that you believe someone can learn from, someone can gain something from, please do well to refer them to us. We would love to hear their story. We also have a mentorship program. I always say that your life where you are, let's say in America, Canada, Europe, in the other country where you are now residing, is determined by who picks you up from the airport. Because if you land in the wrong hands with people who don't know anything, guess what? You might as well, you would have to struggle getting to know certain things. But if you're paired with a mentor that can show you how they did what they did to get to where they are, you can avoid some of the mistakes that they made. Hi, Noni. No, you did not miss it. You have joined at the right time. Hi, Fina. Hi, Edith. Thank you all for joining. We also have community programs. So we have the Immigrant Mom Show for storytelling or story sharing. We have our mentorship program that's going to be built into a more formal program where if you can be a mentor, we want you to raise your hand so you can hold somebody else's hand. Then we have our community programs. We have the Immigrant Mom conference that happens once every year where we would welcome everybody to join us. We just like to have, that space where we can touch on topics that apply to us. We have the Immigrant Mom group also that's on Facebook. If you look for it, it is the Immigrant Mom group on Facebook. We're over 400, almost 500 women there now. And we talk about everything from housekeeping to our stories there again on just things that can help you. We also have workshops and seminars every quarter. So, this organization is growing in leaps and bounds, and I'm so grateful that, there is a place like this, and some people will not have to go through what others went through when they did not have the support and the community that we now have. So thank you all for joining us tonight. I was going to let you know that we have a book club, and we're talking about how to have the sex talk with our children. A lot of us grew up in families where our parents were maybe embarrassed having that talk about about, the body parts, or talking about let no one touch you here, or talking about, sex trafficking. But in this day and age, we cannot let those things to be taught to our children by their friends or by the TV. And that kids have access to YouTube. They have access to a lot of things that when we were growing up, we did not have access to. So join the Immigrant Mom Book Club, where you would learn on how to have that conversation. You would hear other women talk about their experience and all. So that brings me to today. What are we talking about today? Today we have a special guest, and we want to learn what was her journey to where she is raising two confident young ladies. We need to know that, because our children from a very early age will know that they're different. They'll know mom and dad did not grow up here. They'll know mom and dad were not born here. And so they would have to have an added, pad to their confidence when they're in school, because who knows that bullying is real. Right? Let me see your comments. I don't want to feel like I'm talking by myself. Please drop a comment. Let me know that you agree with what I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying. Just let me know that in the comments so we can get it going. All right. Before I bring on our guest for today, I have a little intro, which I'll play. Sorry about that. That was not the right one. Hi, Belinda. Thank you so much for joining. All right, so we'll watch this little clip. Hi, CY. Hello, hello. We'll watch this little clip, and then we'll invite our guest, and we'll get started for today.
While our natural instinct may be to want to wallow in the despair of the situation, the life around us continues to move. What do you do when the unpredictable happens? While our natural instinct may be to want to wallow in the despair of the situation, the life around us continues to move on, and so we must do the necessary, adapt and position ourselves for survival and to thrive. Today, we will hear the story of a mom extraordinary whose life has turned in a whole different direction when on December 10th, 2005, a plane carrying her daughter and many others crashed in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. First, EJ thought she had lost her child. Then quickly, news came that she actually survived. We asked EJ how she felt when she first saw Kechi, and here is what she had to say.
After the accident, you have to understand that at this point, we were still at the airport in Port Harcourt, and we didn't know what to do. We were just milling around, just confused. And I got the call that Kechi was alive and that she was in the hospital. So we took off to the hospital, and when I got into the emergency room, I saw Kechi. She was lying on a gurney. So many things went through my mind at that time. There was heart-searing relief, overwhelming hope that she will pull through, just gratitude to God, a myriad of emotions welled up at the same time. And at the center of it all, it was just gratitude. I was just saying, thank God, thank you, Jesus, that my daughter was alive. So many children by then had been reported dead. So I was overwhelmed, and when I saw her, I was happy, but when I saw her condition, I became fearful because she was in very bad shape, and it was just a mixture of emotions, and the overriding one was gratitude to God that at least she was alive.
Some people have the choice and others do not. But leaving your comfort zone to start life in a new country is an act of bravery by itself. You would encounter so many changes, so many adjustments to make, uncomfortable situations, unfamiliar places, homesickness, name it. So we asked EJ what changed in her since the accident, and she had this to say.
The accident affected my life in very many ways. First of all, my value system changed. Things that seemed very important and things I couldn't do without, and things that were very, very material didn't make sense anymore. Life had more meaning because we had almost lost Kechi's life. Apart from that very deep one, fundamentally some things had to change. We flew to America first of all because of Kechi's treatment, and we just were thrust into this whole new environment, whole new world, whole new country, whole new experience that we were not used to. And we had to live life very fast, to get used to things very fast, because Kechi's treatment started almost immediately and we just had to catch up, So we were immersed into this system that we didn't know much about, and we just had to learn as we lived. And it was hard. It was hard because raising a child in this society is very different from raising a child in Nigeria. And Kechi was 17 when we came here, but my younger daughter, Tara, was 6. And she was just a baby. And life in America was so disconcerting for her. It was such a change from what she was used to. And she was affected by it. And I found myself having to work very hard to try to get her in a place where she will realize that the upbringing that we're giving her at home, even though it's so different from what she's seen here, it is the best upbringing for her. It was a lot of work. We had to do a lot of dismantling of whatever it is ideas that she inculcated from school and from interacting with friends here, and then we had to keep reestablishing those norms and values that she was raised with in Nigeria. So it was hard. It was hard, but we got through it, and I think I did a good job.
Today on The Immigrant Mom, we take front row seat at EJ's masterclass to learn lessons from her life journey. Join me and welcome EJ to our platform.
Brave woman, raising brave children.
Hi, EJ.
Hello.
How are you doing? Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. Did I do justice in telling that story?
Yes, you did. A little too much justice, I must admit. I hope I can live up to all that.
You have surpassed it. You are leaving way, way more, and there's so much we stand to learn. But I have read the book, Rebirth, Refined by Rebirth. Yes, I read the book, so I know a lot more. There are people that are on here that are saying, I know about a crash, I know the girl survived, she's your daughter, but they don't quite understand. So let's go to the beginning. Just take us back to December 10th, 2005, if you can, and just tell us the story.
Okay. The condensed story.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, December 10, 2005, that day started like a normal day. I mean, there was nothing different. There was nothing to indicate that that day was going to change our lives, I got up and I got dressed and I took off we lived in Aba, which was about an hour from Port Harcourt, where the airport was. And I got to the airport and we were told that the flight was delayed. So I went into Port Harcourt town to buy snacks and stuff that Kechi likes. And I went back to the airport to wait. Then it started to rain. I mean, it started to really storm, And I remember thinking, this is a really serious storm. I hope that they don't land in this weather, So the time for the plane to land came and went, and there was no announcement, nothing. And then suddenly we started seeing a lot of movements, the cars just flying in and out, ambulances, buses. So everybody was like, what's going on? Nobody, of course, Nigeria, nobody would tell you anything. So before we knew what was going on, somebody just came and closed. We were at the arrival section. Somebody came and closed the doors and locked us out, and they didn't tell us anything. So by this time, people who were seeing the tarmac had seen that something had happened, but we hadn't filtered down to us. So, but the way things were going, so somebody said, that they said that a helicopter crashed, and my heart just left immediately, because how that something terrible has happened, So I remember I turned to one of the mothers, because all the parents were just there waiting, and I said, I think this plane has crashed. And she said, I'm thinking the same thing. So we took off running to the tarmac area. The closer we got there, the more we saw that there was something that had happened. People were wailing, people were crying, people were shouting, people were screaming. There was so much noise and movement. So I said, is this happening? It's beyond anything you can ever think of, Yeah. The plane that is carrying your child has crashed, Yeah. I mean, and it was something that was so foreign to me, something you see in movies, So it didn't register.
It felt like an out-of-body experience.
Exactly. So as we rushed to the tarmac, some other parents and I called my dad, and I told him that there was sorry, this has been 15 years, but this story is always hard to tell. It's always hard to tell. So I told him that what had happened, and he was like, what? I said, please pray. And he said, what am I praying for? I said, they said that there might be survivors. So he said, okay. So I went to I ran. It was the tarmac is really long. We ran and ran, and then we started seeing parts of the plane, and it was like a surreal. I was like you said, it was like an out-of-body experience, seeing evidence that this plane crashed.
Right.
I was seeing debris. I was seeing different parts of the plane. And then I looked to a green field on my left, and then I saw them, bodies. Lots and lots of bodies, different shapes and sizes, little children. And that's when it occurred to me that yes, this happened. The plane has crashed and Kechi is dead, So at this time, of course, everybody was wailing. People were on the floor. People were rolling on the tarmac. And so I called my husband and I told him. He of course, I don't even know I can't remember what he said, but I told him, please start coming to the airport. We need to at least identify Kechi's body and know what to do. So I went with the other parents. We now sat around, because we're now waiting for some news, some information, somebody to tell us what to do, somebody to tell us where to go, right. Who is collecting the bodies, where are they taking them, what do we do? So I said, okay, I'll just wait for my husband to come so I will know what to do. So when he came, just before, about 5 minutes before I came, I got a phone call. Somebody said, is this Ijeoma Okwuchi? I said, yes, it's Ijeoma Okwuchi. Said, are you Kechi's mom? Are you Kechi's mom? Because they called her name in full. Mm-hmm. And I said, yes, I'm Kechi's mom. Thinking in my head, who is this person that can be calling me about Kechi at this time,
Right.
And she said, the man said, madam, your daughter is alive. I don't even know. Next, I found myself on the floor. I couldn't handle, my body couldn't handle it,
Yes.
So he was still talking the phone was still talking on the phone. I could hear, madam, hello. So I took the phone up again and he said, are you hearing me? I said, yes, I heard you. He said, madam, your daughter is alive. Come to Breathwork Memorial Hospital. She's there. She's asking for you. So at that point, my husband just drove into the airport. So we took off and got to the hospital. And Kechi was lying on a gurney. The gurney was full of fluids. I didn't know what whether it was blood or whether I didn't know what it was, but Kechi was there and she was moving her head. So I immediately went to her side by her ear and I said, Kechi, it's mommy. I'm here. Mommy is here. Mommy is here. So immediately she turned to the sound of my voice and she said, Mommy, Mommy. I said, yes, I'm here. I'm here. And you're going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. And she said, Mommy, I love you. I said, I love you too. You're going to be okay. You're going to pull through. So at that point, the doctor hadn't been able to stabilize her because they hadn't been able to find a vein. So, but when she heard my voice, she calmed down. And they were able to find a vein on her foot. And they started giving her the IV and all the other things. So from there, through a chain of miraculous events, she was transferred to Shell Hospital that night. And then the following day, we were flown to South Africa.
Where you were there for about, was it 7 months?
7 months, yes.
Okay. And then, so a lot of what EJ is sharing, this is really a condensed story, like she said, because she has written the recount in a book called Refined for Rebirth. And I put the link in the comment section. You can find it on Amazon. And I sent you a picture because when I pick up that book, I cannot put it down. I'm amazed at your strength. I wish everybody could just read the encounter with you seeing Kechi in the shape in which she was. She was not out of the woods, but your faith kept telling you, keep pushing a day after another up until this point where she is. You mentioned something about your Christian faith and how that helped you. But before then, what belief did you have, or what do you think prepared you for an experience like this?
Yes, I did mention in my book that I had been from 1988 to 1998. My husband and I had been in something called the Grail Movement, and I became born again in 1998 October, and from there on, my faith journey was growing incrementally, and up to the time of the accident in 2005, let me put it this way. I had come to an understanding of who God is, and what role that he should play in my life, and I was a pretty serious, will I say, Christian, and I worshiped God. I followed him, and I was involved in Christian organizations, church, and all that. So at the point where the accident happened, my faith in God was quite strong, because when the accident happened, I actually funny thing. When the accident happened, I at the tarmac, right there at the tarmac, I said to God, looked up and said to him, I did two things. So first of all, I said to Kechi, I knew Kechi and I have always been very close, and I knew that she wouldn't leave because she wouldn't want to leave me.
Yeah.
So I looked up and I said, Kechi, I know that you don't want to leave me, but you have to go with Jesus. Go with him. Everything is going to be okay. And then I said to God, listen, that you've taken my daughter after 16 beautiful years with her. That's fine. But promise me that you're going to let me live my life in such a way that I would never depart from your path, so that I can see Kechi again when I leave this world. I said, thank you for the 16 beautiful years that you gave me. And I started singing the song, because you live, I can face tomorrow, So it was, if it was not because of my faith, I would not have been able to handle this thing that had happened to me. I mean, my faith is everything. It's what held me together. It's the glue that held me together. I would not have been able to handle this thing if it's not.
Right.
Even after Kechi was even after even after Kechi survived it, the journey was long.
Right.
The journey was very long. It's still going on. But it was just my faith that pulled me through everything.
Right.
I wouldn't have done it without that. Yeah.
And reading that book and reading the scriptures that you put in there has encouraged me personally. To hear you talk about how close you are to Kechi is how close I am to my mom. And, I almost started tearing up. It's difficult, but
I know. I know.
do you regret the decision asking her to fly instead of taking the bus route? So for those who don't know, she was in boarding school and she was coming back for Christmas holiday. And that was the first time that you were flying her from Abuja to Port Harcourt. She normally used to take the bus, is that right? Or
Yeah, but that wasn't the first time though.
oh, that wasn't the first time. Okay.
They used to take the bus, but the bus ride from Port Harcourt to Abuja is like 14 or 16 hours, So when the airline started going directly from Port Harcourt to Abuja, it was like a relief for us because the children
Right.
used to get to school so tired, and it wasn't easy for them. So it was like a dream come true for that to be a direct flight from Port Harcourt to Abuja. So did I regret that? I would say yes and no. Because I mean, in the sense that if she hadn't been on the plane, she wouldn't have sustained the injuries that she has. But on the other hand, having been in that plane crash and having survived, Kechi's life has a lot more meaning.
Yes.
Now, her life is a testimony.
Right.
I mean, she walks into a room, you know that something happened to her. But then her confidence will throw you because you will think somebody who has this number of scars and everything, why is she, what is making her so confident? And you want to know her story.
Right.
So that's why I say Kechi is a living testimony.
Right.
Living testimony.
And that gets us into the confidence part because we really want to know. Because this happened to her when she was 16, going on 17. And 16 going on 17, if I remember very much, my own life, we're so conscious of ourselves. It's around that, teenage age. And then moving to the US, what was that like for you? Behind the scene, working with her, and we'll get into Tara later because that's a different story. What was it like in your mind? Like what was going on in your mind?
You have to understand that Kechi, in South Africa, she made the decision that her scars were not going to define who she was.
Right from South Africa.
She did, yes. It happened. It all started when Kechi she was a very beautiful teenager, very gorgeous girl, and she knew it, I used to despair every time Kechi passes a mirror. She would stay in front of that mirror, stuck there, I used to despair. Well, like, this girl is so vain, So when she lost all that, I was scared, I was scared. And the defining moment came when she said to me, about 4 months into her treatment, she said, "Mommy, I want to see a mirror. I want to see what I look like." I had been praying that day would never come,
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I'll bring a mirror. I had a mirror in my bag. I mean, which woman doesn't? But I said, tomorrow, because I wanted to go and pray about it,
Right.
So I prayed. I told my parents, my mom, I told my sisters that she wants to see herself. And we all agreed, okay, let's just go on. So the next day I of course I didn't bring it up. And she was like, "Yeah, Mommy, I know you don't want to bring it up, but I remember, bring the mirror. I want to see myself." So I said, okay. So I gave her the mirror. So she took the mirror, she put it up to her face, She looks at it, she looks at her face, she turned this way, she turned that way, she looked at her eyes, and she said, So I was like, my heart was pounding, that is so hard.
Yeah.
I was like, what's that reaction? What is that, And she said, "I can still see me."
Wow.
So I was like, okay. She said, yes, things are different. Everywhere is pink.
But she says, I can still see me.
I can still see me. I can
Wow.
still see me, So she looked at everything and she said that she kind of knew that her face would be like that because she had seen her body.
Right.
You know, she had touched her skin, she had touched her stomach, she had seen her body in bandages and everything. So she knew that she was different, but she didn't know quite how different until that day. So of course I was now waiting for tears, I was in rescue mode, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
So it never came. It never came. It was later that she told me that day she decided that she was going to live her life and that her scars would never define who she was. So that kind of took the burden away from me.
Right.
You know, because from that moment on, Kechi was just living her life the way she wanted it. Kechi would wear what she wanted to wear. Kechi would do what she we'll go shopping and I want to buy things that cover her up, you know, and not cover their scars. She said no. She wants to wear her spaghetti strap. She didn't care about anything except what she wanted with her life. She had decided and made up her mind that she was going to live her life.
Right.
You know? And another thing that also made her decide that she was going to live her life the way she wanted to was because she lost 60 schoolmates in that aircraft. There were 61 of them. She was the only student of Loyola Jesuit that survived. So she was determined that she was going to live her life in such a way that would make them proud, you know, and kind of have meaning. Her life will have a meaning for the families of those left behind.
Right.
You know, so that made my work so much easier, you know. Because
I know that you prayed because I read the book. Do you feel like this was an answered prayer? Because it was something that you worried about, especially when you talked to her doctors about her face and her fingers. Do you feel like this was God's intervention in giving her a rare kind of confidence than you ever imagined?
Most definitely. Most definitely. It could only be God. I mean, think about it. I mean, think about a 16-year-old who is scarred from head to toe, you know, and she decides that she's not going to let her scars define her life at 17. You know, I mean, when she started school here, she was wearing the things she wanted to wear. She didn't care. The thing is that when somebody was asking Kechi about how was she bullied, so she said to them, if I was bullied, I didn't notice.
Oh wow.
She said, I didn't notice because I'm living my life the way I want to live my life.
And you corrected me because, you know, that's what I thought too, that coming to the US, she had faced bullying or, you know, had been bullied. But you were like, not her, but her younger sister, Tara. Tell us about that experience. And for those who don't know, you know, from South Africa, you came to the US, you have two children, there's Kechi and there's Tara. And Tara was just 6 when you came, like you said. What was it?
It was terrible. This is a girl who the accident happened when she was 5, you know, and suddenly I wasn't around her. Her sister wasn't around her, you know. Her world kind of imploded, you know, and it affects them.
Right.
So first of all, she was I left her with a friend. She stayed for about a month there, and my friend's kids were mean to her. You know how children kind of bullies zoom in on vulnerabilities, you know.
Right.
They kind of just made her feel less than she was. Then I read in between the lines, I saw what was going on. So I insisted that my family take her. So they came. I don't know how she left but she went to Lagos. She stayed with most of my family stay in Lagos. So she stayed with my family. She was fine.
Yeah.
But then we came to America, and the family that we stayed with had a little girl who was very, very mean, frankly, to Tara, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole cycle started all over again. And when she started school, first of all, it was a brand new environment for her.
Right.
She was not used to the school system. She was not used to she sounded different. She couldn't really understand them most of the time, and you know, and she got bullied in school, you know,
right,
and it affected her personality. It affected her. Tara became timid. She was never timid. She became withdrawn. You know, she would come back from school, and when she tells, we always, Kechi and I always draw her out to find out what happened that day. and then we will dismantle everything that was said to her and rebuild her what will I call it now?
Esteem.
Esteem. Thank you.
Yeah.
Rebuild her to tell her that she's beautiful, that she's a wonderful person, that she shouldn't mind all those things that they say, that everything is going to be okay. This happened on a daily basis for almost 2 years.
Wow. And let's pause here because this is a teaching moment here. And if you're waiting to take notes, you can start right here because the lesson has started. You actually asked her every day when she came back from school.
Every single day.
What happened and who said what?
Mm-hmm. And of course, this doesn't mean I also used to tell the teachers. I would go to the teacher and I would say, my child is being bullied, you know, and they will say, okay, they will do this and they will do that. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. Sometimes I will notice that each child will come back and say, oh, that have somebody who bullied her the other day came to her and said, oh, the teacher talked to my mom and my mom told me that in Africa that children are poor and people, so I'm sorry that I treated you that way. I didn't know you came from Africa. And so I said to that she showed her some pictures of children in Africa who were poor. So I said to her, those children that you saw that in the picture, do they look like you? Did you ever live in a hut? Did you ever go naked and hungry? She said no. So I said, so these people are ignorant. They don't know, you know? So I will ask her every day, what happened that day? What happened to Kechi and I? And then we'll tell her, these people are wrong. They're ignorant. They don't know what they're saying. And you're beautiful. Always know that you're beautiful and you're smart. You're very intelligent and all that. So we kept pouring this into her every single day. Every day.
And it's important because sometimes we feel as parents that self-esteem is something that happens, you know, in a whim. It takes a lot of words to break someone's. So what I'm saying is one time of just reaffirming your child is not enough, and that's what I'm taking away from today. You know, you think maybe if you just tell them you're beautiful, it's something you have to do every day, because when someone else is breaking their self-esteem in school, it's not visible to you until it is a huge mold of a child that is lacking in confidence. What you shared now is so every day, so profound.
Every day you have to tell her. You have to tell her that she's beautiful and that she's smart every day.
And you mentioned that you had to dismantle a lot of things. Apart from that, what were some of those things?
First of all, it was a new environment for her. She wasn't used to the way things were done here. And then she first of all, let me give a very common example. She will come back and she will tell me that the people that the girls that she met, that their moms said that she should call them by their name. And for us that come from Africa, that's a no-no. I mean, you don't call adults by their names. It's just not something that you do. So I tell her, listen, you're not going to do that because it's disrespectful for where we come from, for you to call your friend's mother by her name. And of course, I had to nip that in the bud immediately with her friends who tried to call me by my name. You know? I'm like, no, you don't do that. You don't call me by my name. It's disrespectful. You can call me Miss EJ if you want, or Tara's mom. You know, so she needed to know that even though she's in this society, in this community, that it doesn't mean that the Nigerian girl that she is will now be relegated to the background. No, you're still a Nigerian girl. You're brought up to respect your elders, and part of that is not to call them by their first names. You know, so that was her friends used to laugh at her and all that with all that, but that's just one example. You know. And then she some of the other things that like the freedom, the kind of freedom that the kids have here, we don't really allow our children that much freedom, you know. Like you want if somebody will visit her and then want to stay the night and all that, and I'll be like, you have to ask your mom, and she'll be like, oh no, my mom doesn't care. I'll say no, your mom has to care because this is her child. Call your mom if it's okay for her to stay, for you to stay, then you can stay, you know? And, you know, it was, for Tara, it was like, she had to see that there was a difference.
Yes.
That is not the way these people are brought up, it's not the same way that you are going to be brought up. And I had to show her that the way that she's being brought up is the better way for her.
Right.
You know? Of course, sometimes she will balk at it. She'll be like, oh, she wants to go to here or sleep over, or that kind of a thing.
Right.
But also, one thing that I had to do to kind of center Tara is to accept my authority.
Right.
Most of the time, kids here have their own way all the time. Most of the time, I had to tell her that no is no sometimes. So
Yeah.
so being a strict parent, I'm a Nigerian mother. Being a strict parent, it comes with the territory, and so far, it has. I've raised two beautiful children. Tara is 21. She just turned 21.
Right.
Somebody asked the question.
Yeah. Someone just asked.
Yeah, she's 20. She just turned 21 last month. So you have to raise them in those values, and then of course the Christian upbringing. I had to bring her up in that way. Also, both my children up in that way to have Christian values to in their life and in everything that they do. Yeah.
So we jumped quite a bit from, going from South Africa to the US, talking about Tara and, everything you instilled in not just Tara, but Kechi as well, in the way you raised them. But, we haven't heard the story of what it was like when you just landed in the US, that immigrant mom story, not knowing anything. Take us there.
Well, it wasn't really that bad because the same family that their daughter was horrible to Tara were actually great. They were wonderful. They got us from the airport, like you made a point about who gets you from the airport.
Yeah.
And they took us to their house, and through the lady who was in that house, she was able to kind of gradually introduce me to life, with the way of life here.
Yeah.
It was hard for me because in Nigeria, I'm not used to doing everything
right
for the kids and for myself. Do you understand? In Nigeria, the first of all, you had more help.
Yeah.
Let me just put it that way.
Right.
But here, I was thrust into this situation where, first of all, I came here with a very sick child. Kechi was very, very frail when we came. She came to America in a wheelchair. Then I had another child who was 6 years old and who needed me because her life had turned upside down and she had withdrawn into herself a little, and I didn't like that, Yeah. And then I was in this society where I had to get an apartment, I had to get a car, I had to learn how to drive here, I had to get a license, I had to learn to find my way to the hospital, I had to do everything. I was everything to the children, So it was really, really hard. It was.
How did you not lose yourself in all of this?
Like I said, like I always come back to my faith, because every day I would pray and I would say, God, I don't know what I'm doing, but just help me. Just help me today, And then, of course, I had a great support system. For instance, my mom came with us to America.
Okay.
Yeah. She came with us to America. She stayed with us for like 2 months before she went back, And then I had some friends who live here who also came to see us and help out once in a while. But all in all, it was on me, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. But like I said, I just prayed. I just pray a lot, and I just believe that same God that held Kechi in South Africa and helped us in South Africa would also be with us here. And he is.
Right. We talked about Kechi accepting herself. She said she looked in the mirror and she saw herself. As a mom, what was that acceptance process for you?
It wasn't easy. First of all, Kechi was so beautiful, and I think what made me accept it as fast as I did was the fact that she was alive.
Yeah.
60 children had died. 60 had died, And I had to kind of talk to myself that what I mean, these mothers are not seeing their children,
Yeah.
you know. So if this is the price we have to pay for Kechi being alive, then so be it.
Right.
But then my heart broke for her because this is a teenager
Yes.
who has lost her looks, you know.
Yeah.
And I used to pray so hard for a miracle, you know. I used to say to God, just fix her face. Fix
Yeah.
her face. Every other thing we can manage. Fix her face. Just fix her face for her, please. You
Yes.
know. But where acceptance came was 2 times. Once in South Africa, we got a visit from some kids from World Born Foundation. They brought They came some kids. They brought some kids to visit us,
Yeah.
and I saw these kids and I looked at them, and these kids are kids who had been burned for years past,
Yeah.
and their scars were out there. And I was, oh my God, is this Kechi's future? You know,
Yeah.
up to that time, I had still been hoping that, you know,
There'll be a
just
miracle.
do something, there will be a miracle, plastic surgery, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the one that started occurring to me that this might be more than we are thinking, you know.
Yeah.
Then when we came to America and we went to Shrine House Hospital for the first time, but I saw all those children. I saw kids who had been burned for years since they were born, you know, and those scars were still there. And I remember the first time we came to Shriners, Kechi went very quiet, just looking at those children.
Yeah.
I knew that she was saying in her
This
mind,
is gonna be me.
this is going to be me.
Yeah.
You know, this is going to be me. But she's such a brave soul. You know, she's such a brave soul.
Right.
And the fact that she accepted herself, you know, made it easier for me.
Right.
Yeah, because then I could say, okay, listen, okay, this child, this is what she's dealing with, it's her body.
Right.
And if she says she's going to wear spaghetti and shorts, then let's wear spaghetti and shorts. I don't care.
Right.
So everything that she wanted to do, I gave her my full support. And of course, when people looked at her, I would give them the evil eye, you know. In fact, I had a friend in China whose daughter was burned. What she used to say, well, when people look at her daughter, she would say, why don't you take a picture? It will last longer. You know, I was very protective of her, but at the same time, I was supportive. Anything that she wanted to do, I would do. To a certain extent, I will support her and give her my full support. So I would never say no. You don't wear something that will show your scars. No, never.
Right.
I never did that.
And I've just been, look, in preparation for today, I have gone through your pictures, your profile. I have read articles. I have read the book. And the relationship you have with Kechi is so beautiful. And I know it's same with Tara, but the closeness and the way you narrate it is so beautiful. I so admire.
Thank you.
I read the same about your dad. And you lost your dad a year ago.
Yeah. February 10th, yes. 1 year ago.
Did he die in Nigeria or in America? Did you have to travel? How has it been?
It was actually that's actually been my worst experience in my life. The worst experience in my life, because with Kechi's accident, I could still see her, you know, she was alive. But losing my dad, it was terrible, so doubly terrible for me, because like I didn't see him before he died.
Yeah.
You know, he died in Nigeria. And I couldn't go home for the burial.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to get a grip of it. I'm not over it, and I don't think I'll ever be.
And this is the price we pay. Some of the prices we pay, and my heart goes to you, that God will comfort you. You know, your dad was one of the first people you called when the accident happened. You know
what he said when the accident happened? He said, "Kechi is alive." That's what he said.
So much confidence. I remember you said everybody was wailing, and he was like, "No, he's alive."
He was like, "Kechi is alive. Kechi is alive." His faith, he stood firm in his faith. Kechi is alive.
we thank God for his legacy, and we pray that God will comfort you and all your siblings, that he left, leaving memories, footprints everywhere, and that will give you the strength to go on. Let's talk about your cake business. Because when I
Oh,
come to Houston, I need to go to Gateau DJ. That's how
that's so
they say it, right? Tell us
Somebody
a
said,
little.
may God strengthen the other parents. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
It wasn't easy. It's not been easy for them. It's not been
Right.
easy. I had friends who lost their children, It hasn't been easy
Right.
for them. Oh, my cake business. I've always baked actually. Back home, I used to make wedding cakes and all that. But then um COVID happened and everybody was inside. So I said, okay, let me just start this thing again. And I was very surprised at the reaction, at the way people started ordering cakes and all that. So yes, it is a thriving. I can say it's a thriving business.
I
And
wish I prepared pictures, because I see the pictures on Instagram and I'm just like, who puts me for you now?
I make cakes, yes, and I just added cupcakes to it, and I keep improving every day. I keep adding to my repertoire and all that. So
I wanted to see if I could put in like just the website, so I'll get it before we close the session. So we're wrapping up because we have just a few more minutes to go. I wanted you to just leave some parting words with someone who is going through a similar experience. There are not many people that would face what you have faced in this lifetime. But let's say there's an immigrant mother who was caught between the Dead Blue Sea and a rock, like you were, with maybe a child who is sick and having to know life for themselves, having to work. And they're just like, EJ, where I stand right now, I don't know if I can see another day. With everything that you have gone through, please just use this platform to encourage someone.
okay. First of all, the first thing I'm going to say is what I always say: my faith, my faith. If not for God, I wouldn't be able to handle anything I'm handling right now. It's very important to have faith in God, because when you can't go to anybody, you can go to Him.
That's
When
right.
you can't call somebody on the phone, you can always just go to your room, shut the door, and talk to Him. It's very important to develop a relationship with God, so that you can talk to Him when you need Him, when you need help.
Right.
The second thing I'm going to say is a support system. You must have somebody that you trust. You must have somebody that you can call on the phone and say, listen, I'm going through something. Even
Right.
if it's the mother of I don't know, of your child's friend. I don't know. There has to be somebody who you can pick up the phone and say, I'm struggling.
Right.
Struggling. Even if they call you, Excel, and say, listen, I'm struggling.
Right.
That should always be an avenue for somebody to say, I can't do this by myself, can you help me? Even if it's just to talk to somebody. Sometimes just the fact that you're opening up to somebody is enough. But what depression can do is that it isolates you and
Yeah.
makes you think that you're alone in this world. None of us are ever alone.
Right.
Pick up the phone, talk to somebody, call somebody. It's very important. So
Right.
my own was my faith, and then my support system. I have wonderful, even now. I live here in Houston. My family is not here, but I have friends. I have a lot of them. Some of them are on this chat now. I saw Fina. I saw Maureen.
Shout out to
I
EJ's
saw
friend.
Margaret. Yeah, these are my friends. This is my support system. People who hold me up.
Yeah.
That's yeah. And my sister is also here, Ola, as Tara herself is also here, my daughter. So you need to have people who you can call up and say, listen, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
It's very important. You can't
Right.
do this alone. You
Right.
can't. You
Right.
can't.
Well, thank you so much, EJ. We had a wonderful time. We could go on and on because we haven't even talked about the book, and you have another book that is coming out.
Yes, I do.
Yes, I've put the link to Refine for Rebirth in the chat. Please, you guys look out for it. It's a great book. My husband can tell you when I start, I cannot put it down. I read it to 1 a.m. in the morning, and then I fold the page and I close it. And I'm like,
Thank you.
I'll be back. Well, so thank you so much for joining us. And, there's a question I had to ask, but I did not ask, but I really want to. Did you find purpose in this pain?
Most definitely. The one of the first things one of the major things that came out of this pain was my relationship with God. It was like went on steroids, I don't make a move. I can't walk from here to there without telling him, without the guidance of the Holy Spirit,
Right.
I got so close to God. My faith became so much stronger, and I felt insurmountable. I feel that I can do anything because of Christ that strengthens me, So one thing that came out of this is that my faith is so much stronger than it ever was, and I'm so happy and grateful for that.
Do you think you can mentor young women who desire
I already do. I already have young women who I mentor, who come to me with issues and problems, and I give advice, a lot of advice. And
so what if I want to join? Would you accept me? What if I want to join that group of young women?
you mentor other people. But of course, and yes, and I'm open to people. They can go through you if they want to reach me, because I'm all about giving back.
Right.
I have experienced so much, right. And I'm all about giving advice, giving back, just telling people through my experience what I think they can do also.
Well, so, thank you so much. That's a great offering. Guys, did you hear that? If you mentor, I will start first, me, and then you. You would love to. You can reach out to me and, tell her about you, and, we might, because we need it. Imagine without the strength, but we can never tell what will happen tomorrow. If we don't have a foundation, I'm a Christian, I'm a believer. Without the foundation, what is left for the righteous? You cannot build your house on a rainy day. You must build your house before the rain comes. What will be right if the rain comes and there is no house? So we really need it in today's day. And thank you so much. This is the time where all of us show you love. And I'm just going to show you all the comments that have been coming on. Claudette says,
I want to be mentored. I'm willing to mentor.
Lily says, thank you for your time. Yes. So this is the time we show you all the love. This is
that's my sister. Great interview, love.
You talked about her a lot in the book.
Yes.
Her insight also in the things of God.
Yes.
Wow. Kudos to you, Ulo.
She's great. Yes. She's my younger sister, but she behaves like my older sister. She's much wiser than I am.
Someone says, thank you for sharing your story. You're an inspiration. Thank you, Mama. We love you, EJ. You are a woman. Says the God we serve is so great. Amen. So much, a lot of the comments are coming in. Thank you for sharing your story. Someone says I had fun, on and on. Hope you would have time. Yeah, Ugo is here.
That's my nephew, yes.
Oh, nice. All right. Thank you so much, EJ. Thank you for joining us. And I will chat with you in the back end. Well, guys, so that was today's session. We have gone over by 4 minutes. Like, I could talk with her on and on and on because her story is so powerful. And that's why we have a platform like this. In 2 weeks' time, we're going to have Nina. Nina will be telling us about her journey with infertility. Nina suffered so many miscarriages, but now she's a mom of twins. So tune in for where that invite will come, because we're going to be meeting here April 22nd, 2 Thursdays from today, to talk about Nina's story. Thank you all for joining. be a part of our community. It's women only. Ugo, we got your invite, but it's for women only. But this page is for everyone. The group is for women only. So thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful Thursday. Have a beautiful Friday and a great weekend. And until next time, stay blessed. Have a good one. Bye-bye.